The Vanishing. There was a village named Katuya, and there lived a great king by the name of Ndopu. It began with small things. A goat missing here, a basket of yams gone there. The people blamed thieves from the forest. King Ndopu offered prayers to the ancestors for protection, and the villagers praised his devotion. Then the girls began to disappear. First, Kabuku, the daughter of the village healer, a girl known for her laughter that could turn a sour day sweet. She went to fetch water at dusk and never returned. Next, Mwangala, the eldest daughter of the head farmer, a girl whose hands could coax maize from the most stubborn soil. She went to gather firewood and was swallowed by the evening. Then Inong, then Monde, then Inambao. One by one, the daughters of Lubasi vanished into the night. The village wailed. Mothers tore their clothes and poured ashes upon their heads. Fathers stood at the edge of the forest with machetes, calling names that the wind refused to carry back. King Ndopu called a village meeting. His voice was heavy with sorrow. "Evil walks among us," he said. "A sorcerer lurks in the shadows. Bring me the one responsible, and justice shall be swift." The villagers nodded. They did not know that the evil they sought sat before them on the carved stool of the king. The Discovery. Now there was a girl named Zendaya, the youngest daughter of the village. She was small for her age, quiet, and often overlooked. But she had eyes that missed nothing. Zendaya noticed that the girls who disappeared had all been sent on errands near the chief's compound. She noticed that King Ndopu had grown fatter, his skin brighter, his eyes hungrier. She noticed that each time a girl vanished, the chief emerged the next morning with fresh blood beneath his fingernails, which he claimed was from butchering goats for the ancestors. One night, Zendaya did not sleep. She hid herself in the hollow of a great iroko tree near the king's compound, wrapped in the shadow of the leaves. At midnight, she saw it. King Ndopu emerged from his hut, naked except for a leopard skin across his shoulders. In his hands he carried a blade of black stone, an omo, the ritual knife of the old cannibal cults that the ancestors had banished generations ago. He knelt before a fire and began to chant. The words were not the words of the village. They were old words, hungry words, words that had been buried for centuries. And then, from the shadows of the forest, a young girl emerged, Nyambe, who had vanished 3 moons ago. But she was not walking. She was being pulled, her eyes white with terror, her mouth open in a scream that no one could hear. She moved as though dragged by invisible ropes, her feet scraping the earth, leaving trails of resistance that meant nothing. King Ndopu raised his knife. Zendaya clamped her hand over her own mouth to keep from crying out. She watched as the chief fed, not on flesh, but on something worse. He drank the girl's youth, her hope, her future. When he was done, Nyambe collapsed like an empty calabash, hollow and forgotten. King Ndopu stood taller, stronger, his eyes gleaming with stolen life. Then he dragged the girl's body into the forest, and the night swallowed her. The truth revealed. Zendaya waited until dawn. Then she ran. She went first to the blacksmith, her father, then to the healer, whose daughter Kabuku had been the first to vanish, then to the head farmer, whose Mwangala was gone, then to every mother who had wept, every father who had sharpened his machete in vain. She told them what she had seen. At first, some refused to believe. A chief, their chief, the man who prayed to the ancestors, who spoke of unity, who sat in judgment over them. But the mothers did not hesitate. A mother knows. A mother feels in her bones what her eyes cannot yet confirm. They went to the forest and found what King Ndopu had hidden. Not bodies, for he had burned them, but bones, small bones. Ribs no bigger than a bird's. Skulls the size of gourds. They counted. 7 skulls, 7 daughters. The judgment. That evening, the villagers did not gather for a meeting. They gathered for justice. They came to King Ndopu's compound with torches and machetes and rage that had been simmering for 7 disappearances too long. They dragged him from his hut, not in the dead of a night, but in the light of their burning anger. King Ndopu laughed. "You think you can kill me? I am your chief, I am your leader. You placed me here. Your weakness gave me power. Your trust was my feast." The villagers did not answer with words. Words were for meetings, for councils, for the old ways of civility. This was not a meeting. This was the closing of a wound. They tied King Ndopu to the great Iroko tree, the same tree where Zendaya had hidden, the same tree that had witnessed his evil, and they set fire to dry palm fronds at his feet. As the flames rose, King Ndopu stopped laughing. His stolen youth, his borrowed strength, melted away. Moral of the story: trust is necessary, but trust without watching is an invitation. And the most dangerous predator is not the one who comes from the shadows, but the one who convinces you to turn your own eyes away. Please like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.